In this video, we'll be going over the Yone versus Syndra matchup for Syndra. We're going to have a look at what runes to go and how to play the first few waves, and generally how the matchup goes throughout the game. Let's get into it. First things first, let's have a look at the runes. So generally, this is the page that I like to go against Yone. Why? Well, the reason is that Syndra is a very good lane bully, and with these runes you can bully your way through the second wind and the D-blade and also fleet footwork. Until Yone's first back, you'll be able to bully him quite a lot, and I get the feeling that with the first strike page, which is this is what people like to go, it's not as good. The reason why it's not as good is because Yone has a lot of sustain through D-blade, second wind and fleet footwork, and this doesn't do anything to him. What I'm proposing is that you go this page, no attack speed shard. You can also go with the attack speed shard. I know it's quite good. It does take a while to get used to not having the attack speed, but what this does is it makes your abilities hurt that much more in lane, and it just gives you the ability to bully people out of the lane if they don't play correctly. Airy does the same thing, Scorch does the same thing. Now for the precision tree, we do have a few options. So you see here, you're always going to want to go the Legend Haste rune. In terms of these two, Coup de Grace and Cut Down, here's how you think about it. With squishy champions that you want to one-shot, so let's say there's a team comp with 3 squishies and you have a lot of targets to hit, then I would go to Coup de Grace, and I will also go for a bursty build with Ludens and maybe Shadow Flame or Storm Surge. When it's a more tanky team comp that you're facing, you want to go Cut Down. In terms of summon Airy, you can also go Comet, and Comet does scale better. It generally does more damage in mid to late game than Airy. So that's how these two go. Phase Rush is obviously for safety. If there's a lot of people that can jump you, you can go Phase Rush. But speaking about lane specifically, you want to go Airy or Comet. You can also go Inspiration Tree, and you go Triple Tonic, and you go Cosmic Insight. It's just nice to have your flash up and also your teleport up sooner. And if you do go the bursty build, or you want to go Zhonya's, you do have the item haste. It's very small, but it is something. And you can also go for the magical footwear as well. If you do want to run first strike against Yone, at least do this. Get rid of Mana Flow Ban because Syndra doesn't really need the mana, and replace it with Scorch, and also go double adaptive. And at least you'll have a bit of bullying power as well as first strike. And now I want to show you guys the difference in damage between these 3 pages. First strike with Scorch, Airy with Scorch, and first strike without Scorch and then attack speed shard. This is Airy with Scorch and Cut Down. So a Q will do 112 damage. And this is first strike with Scorch. A Q will do 102 damage. So it's not a massive difference. If you do go Scorch and double adaptive with first strike, it's not a massive difference in damage. It's about 10 damage. And then first strike with Transcendence and no Scorch and no double adaptive only does 80 damage on the Q. So you're missing 32 damage, which is massive. That's it for all the runes. Now let's have a look at the gameplay. So we're going to look at a few clips from this game. This is a Diamond 1 to Master game. One of the things you'll notice is that I went for Phase Rush this game. And this is before I was using the early game runes. This is before I realized actually how strong the early game runes are against these melee matchups. And Yone actually got nerfed ever since, it's not the same meta as the sustain meta. It's gotten a lot weaker since then, with the nerfs to the runes. So this is why I recommend the early game Airy plus Scorch plus the 2 adaptive runes. So let's have a look here. Obviously you want to look for Qs, and you want to build a slow push against Yone. And as the wave is pushing in and you get level 2 and level 3, you want to look for splinters and poke him as much as possible. I like to avoid auto attacking because auto attacking pulls the minions in and kind of ruins your wave. So one thing to note actually is, let's say that Yone is standing here and you auto attack him, you will not pull the minions as much as, let's say, let me quickly delete this. You will not pull the minions as much as, let's say that Syndra is sitting here and Yone is sitting here, and you auto attack him, and then the whole wave will start attacking you, which is a lot worse. So if you can get away with auto attacking him without pulling the minions, fine. It could be a good auto attack, but most of the time, if you're above your minion line, I would avoid auto attacking, and I would just much rather, you know, poke with Qs and Es and try and get splinters. And of course, something to be careful of, which is in every matchup, especially in one where you have control over the first few waves, let's say levels 1, 2, and 3 at least, is the jungle matchup. In this case, it was a fiddlesticks in the jungle, so I know that I can be quite a bit more aggressive. Some junglers will gank you level 3 and have the ability to do so, and then others want to full clear, but you're always going to be careful of the jungle matchup, and it's going to influence how aggressive you can be with your trading and the way you play the lane. I want to show you guys this interaction because you need to know it. It works with other things as well, but let's have a look at Yone specifically. At this point, he has his Q knock-up, so he's going to come in and you can just buffer his knock-up with your E to stay safe. So moving ahead now a little bit further into the lane, and what has happened is we have achieved a crash. We crashed the wave, and now the wave has come back and we have a freeze. So as a Syndra, at this point, this is where we want to play the lane. If we can be in this line, behind this line, we keep the wave here, it's ideal. What this essentially does is it gives us the ability to set up a gank onto Yone. He has to walk up, he has to get the minions. He does have the, at this point, he does have the sustain to do it. For example, if he is playing with a refillable, and then he would probably have a D shield, not like this Yone. This Yone was very greedy, going Doran's Blade, which is why he is in the position that he is now, where he has to walk up and be in a dangerous position, especially as we have a Thresh and a Diana as a jungler, which makes him quite gankable. At this point in the lane, this sort of thing can happen. Yone has a few items on his belt. I use my E for no reason. That was a big mistake. He has QE. He comes in, he does a short trade, and that's a lot of my health bar missing. So as the game goes on and Yone has more items, more sustain, especially in the late game, there's a lot of danger around Yone, and I'll show you guys later on how I make another similar mistake and he ends up taking me down. And yeah, I mean, this sort of thing is just how the matchup goes. You have the control early, and then after that, it's just you have to be a little bit more careful. So now we're in the mid game and we're doing quite well. We're farming nearly 10 CS per minute. We have 2 items, and this is the big mistake that I made in this game. I wanted to sneak up behind him, and let's see what happens. This is what you need to be careful of when you face Yone. He does have Wit's End at this point, and we get clipped from a Q, and then this is what happens. With that being said, thanks for watching this video. I hope you learned something about the Syndra versus Yone matchup. That is the intention of these type of videos, and I want to make more of these. And right now I'm working on a Syndra guide, and that should be out soon. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.